Guaranteed to inspire. Just let me take you high. Oh, baby. We're live no more.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and we are here on Freaky Fun Friday. And as the song says, love won't let you wait anymore. Good morning, guys. How are you?
What's up? Good morning. What's up?
Good morning. You can't hear yourself?
No, I can't.
Let me turn you up a little bit. Can you hear yourself now?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. There are so many things that are going to be going on this weekend. I'm super excited, and then I'm not super excited about it. I didn't know if it was going to be too controversial or not. Question, before we get this show started, we're going to just jump right into the mess. And then I'll drop my topic with all this other stuff I have to say. So last night, I did a walk through Greenwood last night. And don't get me wrong, it was nice. It was exciting. There were a lot of people there and they were enjoying themselves. So my question, even though it's controversial, and if it is controversial, blink twice. Okay, so we're super excited. Most of us are. We're very happy about the acknowledgement of everything that's been going on as far as Juneteenth, the centennial, and all that.
Exactly.
But in other news, why are we so happy about something that was supposed to be given to us anyway? If it takes 100 years to apologize for something that you know you should have apologized for, is it authentic? Is it genuine? What do you guys feel about it? That's just those are just my thoughts. I am super happy about it, but does it? But if I do something
about the centennial,
just about how well everything is going, but if it takes me 100 years to apologize for something that I know I should have apologized 100 years ago for, is my apology really genuine, or is it because there's been so much light shine on it today?
I don't believe it's. I'm not gonna say it's not genuine, but
Okay.
to me, apologies come with action. I can tell you,
100 years. Yeah.
you know, it's just a day from 100 years ago that it actually happened. So it had to be noticed, but there's no action with it, and they had to recognize it. So far as it being genuine, I'm not gonna say it is or it isn't. I just, I believe that's just yet to come. We'll just have to keep our eyes open.
Okay. And by the way, this is Shanta Clipper Hands. She is sitting in with us today. You can find her at Fade Tight, 2717 South Memorial. Come in there and she will get you tight and get you right. GB, what do you think?
I think it was. It was force fed. It was force fed simply because it was swept up under the rug years ago, and now they're trying to come to the forefront and address it by force. It had to be. It was force fed.
That's what I'm saying. So it's being done because there's so much light being shone on. D-Real, what do you think? What are your opinions on that?
I think it's different. Well, you mean like as a whole, like when you say, like as far as well, I think they've been trying to get something done over the years. I just think the people, as the years went on, they just try to let it fade away, like just try to ignore it.
So do you think it's genuine?
Although, because the way Byam try to put it now is he don't feel like the people of today should pay for the people what the people of yesterday did. So it was just that gap of ignoring all this time when something could have been, you know what I'm saying? You remember how when Malcolm X would always talk, he was like, this racial explosion is just build like a bomb, just building up and building up, and it's what he said. Then it's just ready to explode.
And then
I said it's ready to explode. You hear me?
When you say ignore, what word do you get out of it? Because the first thing that came to my mind,
ignore is like you aware of it.
It was like the first
but you just choose to ignore. I mean, that's the root word of ignorance.
Ignorance, yeah, that's what I was.
Ignorance, when somebody hear ignorance, we think somebody calling somebody dumb. It's just ignorance. Just means you don't know that particular matter,
or pretending not to know.
No, that's ignore. When you know something and you choose to.
I'm going to ignore that comment. I mean, like that. Yeah. Okay, so.
When you choose to ignore.
Yeah. So
when you know the truth, but you choose to ignore.
So when you
thinking it'll go away.
When they made this a national holiday, did that impress you?
No.
Because we've been doing Juneteenth for how long? I know Juneteenth was around when I was a kid.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Man. And I'm 48.
I mean, because we're going to celebrate it whether they declare it a national holiday or not.
All right. So why did it take so long?
The only thing that when you declare some national holiday to me is just involving with whether you're gonna shut down government offices or you're gonna get a paid
like
vacation or
like
something. That's
President's
the only.
Day.
I mean, it ain't
That's
like
right.
if they didn't declare it, we gonna. So to me, what benefit are you getting off of it? Because some jobs, and then being in Oklahoma, the right to state to work, even though Martin Luther King holidays they're declared or other federal holidays, it's their choice whether they want to close their
that or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to get too deep into it. Those are just my thoughts on everything that's been just going on. We're at KBOB 89.9 FM radio, KBOB899.com website, KBOB 89.9 Facebook Live, iTunes Podcast, iHeartRadio. You can catch each and every one of us on our Facebook Lives or our Instagram Live. And of course, my Instagram is all about Mika. So if ever you want to go back to that, that's where you can catch me. The temperature today currently is 79 degrees. The high will reach 97, which I absolutely love. And it's going to fall back to a low of 75. What they say, absolute 0.00% chance of rain. So get up, get out, do something, go somewhere, call somebody, hug somebody, kiss somebody. But whatever you do, drive to arrive safely, because just like today, we need you right back here Monday and every day of the week, because at the Bobby Eaton Show, we tell our stories our way. Meek in the Morning and crew. We'll be right back, guys.
P&J Publishing Incorporated announces a new book release, The Entrepreneurial Woman. The World is Your Playground by Angela K. Chambers, MES. Available right now for pre-order at payhip.com/B/NB_A_C. The book release is set to hit June 1st, 2020. If you're ready to publish your book, visit us online at www.pnjpublishing.com. Unleash that book that's inside of you with P&J Publishing.
Everybody's talking about you and her together.
Hey, it's Denise with Addie Mae's Food for the Soul, where we cater to vegan, pescatarian, and everyday sultry soul food. We have meatloaf Mondays, taco Tuesdays, chicken wing Wednesday, turkey and dressing Thursday, fish Fridays, barbecue Saturdays, and Sundays is our sultry soul foods. We're located at 5266 North Peoria. You can contact us for call-in orders at 918-845-2989, and we also deliver with DoorDash. Hope to see you soon.
Fitting Back In is a reintegration program designed to help those released from prison to fit back into the community as productive.
Okay, guys. We are back, and I do not want to waste a minute or a moment of our
Father's
time.
Day too.
This weekend is Father's Day, so guys, get ready to get nothing.
Oh man.
I haven't seen one Father's Day commercial. Have you guys?
No.
GB?
No, I haven't seen it.
I've been seeing them on my phone.
It's sad.
It's
But
sad.
not on TV.
It really
It's
is.
sad.
I do watch a lot of Netflix.
That doesn't mean that you won't be celebrated for Father's Day.
But it's just sad how America, how America just portrayed fatherless. Fatherless.
I'll take that back.
No,
I seen a glimpse of one, and then I seen the Obama thing.
Was it Home Depot? Because every time I see a Father's Day commercial, it's Home Depot or Lowe's.
Men are hard to buy for.
Are they?
Are they?
Not really.
Look at my guys.
Not really.
They are hard to buy for.
It's real simple.
It's best to go get you a gift card. Hey, I bought my guy so many, I bought him this, that, and the other, but only thing he just really was happy with when I went and got him a Home Depot gift card. Or a Lowe's gift card.
But men like electronics. They like electronics a lot.
Out the type of shoes
you got a significant other. Yeah, you know what they into.
Yeah, it takes a while though sometimes.
What, to figure it out?
Sometimes, man.
Let me give you two.
Got a stubborn one.
Let me give you two local stories, and then we're gonna drop our topic because I need everyone's opinion on this. Vehicle lands in someone's front yard after a rollover crash. A driver lost control of his vehicle and flipped into someone's front yard in North Tulsa early Thursday morning. Police say the driver was traveling north on Louisville when he tried to turn right at a high rate of speed. Again, all of these crashes have been coming because people have been speeding. He overcorrected, hit a tree, then a fence, and then flipped into the yard near Admiral and Harbor. He just took a bunch of stuff. Police say he was not injured. which is a good thing. I mean, but I'm just saying, how you gonna tear up all the people's property and walk away? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Also, Tulsa Juneteenth Festival will be packed with events Wednesday to Sunday. So evidently they had something down there Wednesday night that I didn't know anything about. I actually just rode by on the highway, and that's how I saw it. But if you're going to go out there, leave the guns at home, because this is definitely a celebration, celebrating us, celebrating you, celebrating we. And we do not want any instances. They're going to have food trucks down there. They have vendors down there. They have the history lessons down there. They have the fence that's put up that has the history and some things on it. So if you're going, go to have a great time. Police respond to a hostage call at a Tulsa apartment complex. Were you want to say something? Go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Tulsa police say a hostage call at an apartment complex ended with officers breaking down a door to get the victim into safety on early Thursday morning. Thursday was tripping.
I thought Thursday was ladies' night.
Thursday was tripping. According to police, the call went out around 12:30 a.m. from inside the Edenwood Apartments complex near East Apache Street and North Peoria Avenue. I guess the old Morning Star?
Yeah, I think that's what they changed the name to. Yeah.
Police say the victim was inside an apartment that had a door with double locks, and the suspect would not give up the keys. Police described the relationship between the suspect and the victim were recent acquaintances. How are you just going to go over there and kidnap somebody? You just met her. Police told News 06 that they decided to break the door down after 4 hours of negotiation.
My goodness.
Now, see, this is what I'm saying. A black woman being held against her will for 4 hours, that could not have been good for him. You know how much noise she probably was in there talking?
Oh, she got some duct tape.
Oh, Lord.
She's still.
Lieutenant Paul Madden from the Tulsa Police Department said all of those efforts fell through and the decision was made. He would breach the front door and extract the victim. The victim performed beautifully for him. Oh, okay. I positioned her next to the door. One of the officers breached the door and she basically jumped out the door into his arms.
Boy.
She was ready.
Yeah, she was ready to go.
She was ready to go. Police say the suspect was not taken into custody because he is not a threat to anyone else. Instead, a warrant for kidnapping will be issued for his arrest.
Almost 4 hours. They didn't have a warrant prepared.
They did not have a warrant prepared. 4 hours held against her will. But I guess maybe he didn't touch her. Maybe I guess he didn't hurt her. But come on, 4 hours.
What was he just blocking the door?
It was double locks, and he wouldn't give up the keys. But what I did hear was he told them that was his wife, so and she just wasn't going nowhere.
So like he had her
and it
was point, or yeah, he was just like, sit down. Like if it ain't on, sit down. If it ain't on, sit down. Yeah, he was doing that. But what do you think about that? 4 hours? What you gonna do if I hold you for 4 hours against your will?
Trying to climb out of the way.
Well, you're gonna try to cooperate. If you
I promise you, I ain't gonna
if he got if he got a gun or if he can do something to hurt you,
so you said your family or your kids or something.
Yeah, you gotta.
Okay.
You gotta deal with the circumstances as they proceed.
I heard of a young boy I read about a young boy who was being held not too long ago, and he just prayed the whole time in front of them.
And they told him to shut up, and they let him go?
No, they ended up letting him go.
Yeah, because they told him to
continue to
pray. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that too. He was kidnapped, and he was riding in the backseat of a car, and he kept praying, and they kept saying, be quiet, we don't want to hear that. And he just kept, and the more they said, the louder he got.
I think he was singing that Hezekiah Walker song.
He was singing it?
Yeah, the little boy started singing that song.
And so that's my that'll be my
also I want to give a
powerful.
I want to give a shout out to Clarence. He is actually going to take that test again today, and I pray, Shanta, I hope you prayed.
I prayed this morning.
I hope you did, because he said that would be a great Father's Day gift. And hey, it is Juneteenth, so why not let the black man celebrate this win?
To get them licensed.
I surely hope so.
Definitely give a shout out to my baby girl, my daughter. She graduating today. Starting her journey in the medical career.
Hey, Kiki! Congratulations.
Yeah, they have a graduation today. Yeah,
okay.
Awesome.
Okay,
great.
Kiki. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to her. Okay, D-Real, what did you want to tell us about the sport?
Well, last night, in case you missed the game, yes, indeed. It is now games. Well, the series is now tied 3-3.
I don't like that.
3 tree to tree. So One more game, lose or go home.
Game over, huh?
Brooklyn Nets. Milwaukee Bucks. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Brooklyn.
I'm going to still go with Brooklyn.
I'm going to go with Brooklyn.
Because of the Durantula, but it's looking kind of scarce.
I think this is a political thing and a money thing. I do. I think when they go like all them 7 games, come on, you clearly know who the better team is, right? Don't get me wrong. I do believe that maybe you can get a lucky. I do believe you can get a lucky win in. I'm not saying that. I do believe somebody can get a lucky win in. But when you clearly know who the better players are, when you clearly know who the better team is.
Both of them hurt.
I'm gonna have to go with the Durantula as well. But you can't rule out Giannis. Giannis is
he's young and strong
Giannis
too.
Is a beast.
He is very young and he's very strong. But you're going with the Nets.
The Brooklyn.
You're going with the Nets. Clip of hands. Who you going with?
Brooklyn. I'm not into basketball. Talk to me about football. But the Nets looking the best to me.
Well, first of all, it ain't football season.
I know. I just right now I have no conversation for you.
All I want to know is who is Durant's barber?
Man, I just look at his beard.
You probably have a stylist.
Well, they're failing.
I would love to trim.
Durant, if you're listening, could you come to Fade Tight 2717 South Memorial Drive, and they will get you right. You'll be so satisfied because yesterday he bent down and I was like, game over. That's why they're losing.
It seems like that beard will get in the way, don't it?
I can deal with the beard because I know that can easily be fixed.
It looks hot.
It looks hot.
It looks hot.
It can't look hot in Harden's beard.
You're right. Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. See what I mean?
Okay. Also, you were talking about
Harden. I was talking about Harden. Man, his mouth look hot. Like, good Lord.
KBOB.
Can you bounce the ball? Can you see the ball?
KBOB 89.9 FM radio. But when we come back, I am going to drop that topic. And I want real answers. This is something that we were going to talk about Wednesday, but we did not get a chance to. But we're going to drop that topic as soon as we get. As a matter of fact, no, let me go ahead and drop it now. You guys can think about it. And then when we come back, you can tell me what it is that you want to say. So basically, the topic is when you want to be treated like an adult, whether it's your kids, whether it's your friends, whether it's just anybody, they are of adult age. So do not get me wrong. They are of adult age. But when they want to be treated like adult, but everything they do resembles actions of a child, from the way they handle their business to the temper tantrums they throw, to how they take your advice as a father, as a friend, just everything. So basically, when you want to be treated as an adult, but your actions do not match. KBOB 89.9 FM radio.
Before you tell anybody.
Oh, if you can't do that, the least you can do is keep the thing to yourself. You oughta. You know you should. I'm gonna get you. You better tell it to my face. Stay off the downside.
Get you now, boy.
Coming at you with my fist balled up. One of these days that it won't be long. You're gonna know what I'm talking about. They don't do nothing. They're only one way out. Same thing. You got a job taking care of your own. Tend to your business, leave man alone. Anything you say about me, just could be a lie. You better watch yourself. Maybe the clothes that I wear, I don't like it. Come and tell me. Whoa, yeah. Maybe the style of my hair, I don't like it. Come and tell me. That's the thing to do, all right. You got to do it. Yeah. Get on up. just don't need, and I'm in a day to say, I'll forget you. I'll toss you out of my life.
Now back to this topic. Let me just read this real quick. Privileges, entitlement, spoiled. Do all or any of these things resemble enabling our kids or adults? What do you do or act? How you act is all that play a part. When is the cutoff time? And what about the guilt that comes behind saying no to your grown friends or your grown children that constantly need assistance? And that's not to say that you're going to cut your children off. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. Of course, as parents, we will never just completely cut our children off. We're going to be there for them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But where are the boundaries and what is the limit? And when they don't get what they want, how do you handle the entitlement that they think they have with your things? If your children feel entitled to your things after you've already done so much, derail, how does that make you feel? Does it leave a sour taste in your mouth? Like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have did as much as I did. If you think I owe it to you at this point.
No, for me, I think it just can. I think somebody's going to raise their kids depending on how they were raised.
Okay.
Me personally, my point of view, if you're from somebody, well, I just feel like entitlement. Yeah, it can go both. I mean, I don't mind them feeling like they're entitled because you can say no, but a kid is going to be a kid, and so I just I don't know. I think it's for me. I was trying to find that balance, and I think we talked about the other day as far as like giving your kid, helping your child or whoever, but not helping them too much to not make them so codependent. You know. And so I just would look at it from my point of view of me of how I was, or the thing I could say, okay, well, I didn't have this, or I didn't have that. So I want to give my children more than what I had. I hear that conversation a lot, and I even had that mentality too. I want to give them more than what I had. But
Now,
then
one
trying
second.
to find that line.
One second, hold on. Are we talking about younger kids or adult children? Because I think
I don't know what are we talking about. I thought we were just talking in general.
No, I'm talking about like adult kids.
We're talking about adult kids.
Adult kids. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
because
same thing.
Because your smaller kids, you're gonna give them the world.
But I mean, even your adult kids, I mean, you still gonna help them. They
Look
still
out
gonna
for
need
them.
help. Yeah. So I mean, it's still that line. Rather, even if you're in your early 20s and where you were in your 20s, and if you seen how hard it was or the difficult things that you had to go through at that age. So for me, I look at that whole gamut. Okay, these are some of the things I was going through. I realized that I didn't have help at this age and how hard it was for me. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't want it to be that hard for them.
Yeah.
But yet trying to find that line where it's like, I want you to still be able to fight and get it yourself and still have the know-how and not be so codependent on, as a child. But still want you to have that drive and still be able to try to figure some things out yourself.
Do you ever feel guilty about saying, and how far does your guilt go? But do you ever feel guilty about saying no to your adult kids?
I have before.
Yeah. How far did it go? Like did it go as far as you went ahead and gave in, or you went ahead and just stood your ground?
I think it would just depend on the circumstance.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on, because I think as a parent, you kind of, it's kind of like when that child is ready to move out. As a parent, you know your child. You know certain things that they're responsible about, that they're not responsible about. So you're looking at it from their perspective. So when they come and ask you for something or this or that, or like when they talking like they're grown, but in your mind, you like, dude.
What's the look?
Or, you'd be like, okay. But you know what I'm saying? But you don't want to keep dumping on them as if you're trying to nitpick their imperfections or like you're trying to tear them down or discourage them. So, but you as a parent, you know, so you just guide them accordingly.
What about you, Clipper Hands? Where's the line drawn between helping? Like I said, it doesn't have to be just adult children. I'm saying adult friends or children, because we know as smaller kids, you're gonna give them the world. I done said no a million times only to say yes at the end of it to the younger kids. But what about your adult kids? Where do you draw the line with adult children?
With adult children, well, like when they're coming out of high school, first of all, like say when they're getting to the 16, 15, 16-year-old age.
Okay,
you're starting to train them. You've already, you're training them up until that point, but now I'm trying to teach you real life lessons. You know what I mean? Far as bank accounts, far as just in general, ways of living life and being an adult, because this is what they're, everybody can't wait till they turn 18 until they get 18 or till they get 20 something years old.
Okay.
And want to get there. But far as drawing the line, I really can say that personally that there isn't a line. It is a line, but you have to set up boundaries, because at some point, if they continue to come back, you know what I mean? Make mistake, come back. Okay, I'll help you get up, but if you don't go on, at some point you have to start flying.
So
at some point you have to, because eventually I'm going to need you.
Exactly. So if they keep coming back, are you enabling?
At some point, you probably will be.
At some point, you will.
Yeah.
And we all been guilty. We all have been guilty.
Yeah.
Of it.
I mean, you love your children.
What about you, GB? Where's the line drawn for adult children? We all have adult kids in here, so
like one of you guys was saying, it just depends on the circumstances of a situation. But independence is something that you should strive for and you should thrive on. You should thrive on doing the best you can for yourself, preparing yourself for later in life.
Mm-hmm.
I left home at 18 years old, knock on wood, never been back home. And when I went back home to see my parents, I always had something to contribute, because I think that's what a child should do. Once you get your mother raised you for 18 years, when your mother and father, and when you leave home and you start doing well for yourself and you become independent, it's a whole different dynamic when you have to buy your own drawers,
and
when you have to buy your tissue, deodorant and stuff. You don't have you can't look back at your father and your mother to go buy what you need. Then you start to grow in the mind. You start to say, well, and then the world is a dog world. And when you get out here on your own, you can't expect nobody to do nothing for you. You got to go do it for yourself.
Okay.
That's my take on it.
So does the dynamics change when your children start to have kids? Do you pull back even more, or do you go harder for them? Because at this point, not only are you having to help them, now you're helping
them and their children.
And that's not a bad thing as far as like grandparents and stuff go. But I'm saying when you can clearly see that they weren't ready to do this for themselves, and now here they are having children. Go ahead, real quick.
This area right here, also, you got PS2s, whatever that you got all these
PS4s.
different PS4s, all these different games and gadgets to play with. The kids are extremely spoiled nowadays. I know mine was, and they have this sense of entitlement. The parents was a whole lot different when we came along. Tough love and was able to explain and try to prepare you for the world. We try to pass this down to them, and it's like
not working.
It don't work. It's just don't sink in. Hey, one day you're gonna have to be out there, and you're gonna have to face the music, and you're gonna be on your own.
Yeah.
And like Shanti just said, what's gonna happen if I get old?
Yeah.
And I can't
when
walk,
you get old,
and I can't walk. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for me?
Chicken and
what you gonna do? You might have to take care of me one day.
Right.
But if you ain't never been prepared to take care of your own self, how you gonna take care of me?
Exactly. My biggest fear is living in Pioneer Plaza. So that's what I tell my children. I don't want to live in Pioneer Plaza. Please get this stuff together.
Well, if you look out the window, I can see you.
Hey, nothing wrong with Pioneer Plaza for those who live there, and because it's a beautiful view.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I don't want to have to live there. I don't want to have to go there or have to be in a nursing home. You know what I mean? And I understand that you're going to go out there and make mistakes, and I'll be here for you. And when you come back, because to help you get a leg up, but go fly again. Birds kids kick their kids out, their baby birds out of the nest. You know,
that's just mean.
What's that?
Kicking them out the
nest.
Well,
you have to.
That's just mean.
Fly.
When I left home, I didn't leave because my mama wanted me to leave or my father wanted me to leave. Actually, my mother did not want me to leave.
At 18, that's a young
My
age.
mother did not want me to leave.
I mean, you know,
it is.
My father did. He wanted me to come back home. You know, it's just a different. See, kids nowadays, like I said, they're just so ungrateful, and they don't have a clue of what's really going on.
Well, you know, for me, growing up, I was the oldest child, so I had a younger brother and a younger sister, and I just saw that if you don't do what you need to do, if you just don't do the right thing, and if you know me, I always got a list going. You know, I always got a list going. If I get ready to go to the store, I got a list. If I got a chores I got to do next day, I make a list. I just noticed that when there is no guide, for lack of a better word, or when there is no ritual of doing things, sometimes things can get out of hand, and we look up and we have 20 things that need to be done when we could have just did the right thing in the first place. So for me, that's why I say this. So for me, I saw my mom and my dad. Most of the time, my mom, because my dad kind of lived in LA or whatever. Now he lives in Mexico, but for me, my mom and I, we just got like an order going, and I'm going to go to work, but I need this, and this done before you get home. So when she left, I started delegating chores to little brothers and little sisters, because there was no need for her to come home from working all day to come home to a house that was in disarray, kids that were disorderly, you know, towels. I was old enough to do towels. I mean, I didn't do her clothes, but I was old enough to do towels. I was old enough to show my brother and sister, hey, go get your clothes. We'll put them in a pile. You put them in the washer. I'll start them, and then I'll sit here and I'll show you how to fold them. So
you were a good kid, Shamika. You were a good kid.
I tried to be, and thank you.
And but we're talking about. I mean, I'm not trying to change your narrative at all, but we're talking about those that don't do that.
And that's what I'm saying. So, I saw that in my mom. Like, okay, we're a team. Basically, we were a team.
That's right.
And she needed my help, even though I was still her kid. But I needed her to exist in life anyway. So why not just do the right thing? You know, you do have those kids that go out there and they do make life hard for their parents. And again, those are the kids that are grown that make life hard for their kids. But then at the same time, D-Real Daddy, can I get a few dollars? Can I drive the car? Can I do this? But you've been told them day after day after day after day, don't do this because you're going to end up like this. Basically, you're trying to prevent them from having a crash, but you don't know anything because, of course, at 25, they know everything. Exactly. Even though you're twice their age, right? So even though you're twice their age, you don't know anything.
Nothing.
You don't know anything. So then when it happens, after you tell them, if you do this, that's going to be a crash dummy move. That's a nice way of saying it.
Well, it happened because that's what you said it was going to happen.
A crash dummy move. So when it happens, and then they come back and say, Daddy, Mommy, fix this. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about it?
Me personally, I'd be upset because that's my whole outlook. You know,
try to prevent.
Because I know when it hit the fan, who you're going to fall back on, who
exactly.
you're going to come to.
Exactly.
So yeah, mine is prevention. Exactly. And all they see is nag.
Right, because you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing.
They see nag. Like you always, you know. But I'm thinking to myself like that ain't. But then I'm like, okay.
Throw a number out there. How many times have you told your child to maybe let's take a different route? They didn't, and then now you got to fix it. Just a random number.
1,000 times.
Clip of hands.
21,000.
Be real.
Mika. You lose count.
Simply because they don't kids, a lot of kids now they don't even look at their parents. Like I used to hear my daddy moving around in there getting prepared for work.
For the day.
For work.
Yeah.
You know, he get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Ooh, that's
and he had to drive some miles to get to work because he had to be at work at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking about the strenuous job that he worked when you're dealing with inmates at a penitentiary.
Did you that was a correctional officer?
Yeah, he was
correctional officer, right?
Okay. He was a supervisor at a facility, and
that's got to be mental too.
And so then you know I look at him, and then I look at him prepare, and you know I was like grateful that I had parents that went out and went to work, and I looked at my mother prepare. She got me a job. I worked with her, and Mama At that time, I'm a young man, athlete, football, basketball, track, and mama would work circles around the average man. You know what I'm saying? So I was looking at that and I was grateful to see that happen because it was lessons being learned. And nowadays, kids don't even pay attention. Don't even look at that. They're not even concerned with what's going to help them in the future.
So what about, D-Real mentioned raising kids in the manner that maybe you were raised in. So what happens when you raise your children in a manner you were raised in, and then these suckers
act like they weren't raised
these
by
suckers
you.
go straight to the left and then off a cliff and then jump back up and then fall back off again, and then you sitting there looking like, this is not how you were raised. This is not what I showed you. This is not what I taught you. Because kids, you are your kids' first teacher. So if you're steady when they're younger, putting those things and instilling those things into them, the good things, and nobody's perfect, we get it. And then they go off and do something crazy in the total opposite direction of what you raised them.
When that happens, why do so many parents get the blame?
Because of the old cliche saying, "Who raised you?" Who raised you?
Or
what Georgia
the
said,
apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
That's not always true. I mean, that's not always the parents' fault. You know what I'm saying? Because like I know preachers that got kids. I have friends.
Kids, yeah.
Wildest, the craziest. You know what I'm saying? And the daddy is a preacher. It don't matter what occupation your father have or where he come from. If he's a great man, that don't mean the kid's gonna be a great person. See, like that cliche is something that should be thrown way.
I've noticed that peer pressure has been a big problem within children. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've always taught my children, to be a leader, not a follower. I was the only child, so I really didn't have anyone to just seriously follow, which is a good thing.
I was the older cousin, so
right.
Everybody followed me.
But the thing is that I also told my children, whatever you do today will affect you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, and I don't know if they ever just really truly got it. I'm still working with them. I love my children, but
so at
the same time,
this is what I will say.
They hear me.
This is what I've seen too. You know how your child, whether it's a son or a daughter, but we're going to mostly say daughters because let's just keep it real. Most of the time, they're the ones who bring the kid home, even though your son has a child, but it's over there. So when you don't make her be a mom or show her or teach her how to be a mom, and then, this was easy. And then here come a second baby. And then here come a third baby because you're constantly stepping in there, helping her raise those kids. Do they not get to, what I'm saying? Because having a kid, that's a lifetime thing. And if if you don't do what you're supposed to do for the first child, because I'm constantly doing it, am I really showing you, am I being a good grandmother or am I being an enabler? Because if you don't know the consequences of how hard it is and what it takes to raise a kid, because I'm constantly saving you or giving you money, I'm buying the diapers, you don't have no responsibility at all. So, hey, this is nothing. Having a baby, this is nothing. Then you have another one. So where do you draw the line with that? Because a lot of us, although I don't have that issue, but when it comes to those grandbabies of mine, they can have my fingers, they can have my toes, but at the same time, I don't have to buy shoes. I don't have to buy diapers unless I want to. I don't have to do anything for them unless I want to, because my children take care of all of
their responsibility.
Take care of all of that. So do we enable our children if they have a child and we take over too much when it comes to the kids?
Well, I wouldn't say enable. I mean, it's the same. You're a grandmother, so therefore you're going to love your grandchildren. Period. Point blank. There's nothing that you can do about it. I just say
there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean they're there. You know what I mean?
There's nothing you can do about it.
No,
just go love these kids.
When you say enabling, what exactly are you saying? I mean, like what?
Like if you have if you're my child and then you have a kid. And you're not being made to take no responsibility for that kid because I'm doing everything. So now to you raise the kid, this is nothing. So you go out and you get another kid.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You have to make
you're definitely hindering and impeding the process.
You have to make that adult take care of her child. The one thing I love to say is my grandchildren have their own parents. My grandchildren have their own parents. So parent them. Period. I want to be a grandmother. It's my time.
I mean, and you look fabulous too. I'm just saying.
Thank you. You do too. Hey.
You look fabulous because all of us in here, our children have children. So do you have boundaries, daddies? granddaddies, do you guys have boundaries when it comes to them kids? Because D-Real, I done seen all your videos.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to have. I mean, well, I mean, I, I guess, I guess it's kind of like what Clip Hands was saying. I get to enjoy the being the
Spoiling and taking
grandfather
home.
time, yeah, because they their parents are in their doing their job, and of course I help when I can, even without asking, because it
Your
just to
babies. They're
give.
your
I
other
mean, you know what I'm
babies.
saying? Yeah,
They're your other
but yeah,
babies.
just getting to enjoy the playtime with them, when you know what I mean, and not the other things that have to come with it, as far as, like, I guess, if you want to say, if you are raising them,
Mm-hmm.
vice versa, getting them getting dropped off, you go to pick them up and staying with you for a few days, a week, whatever, and take them back. It's just that.
I have a comment here from Teresa Taylor, our product lady,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, everyone didn't come from that stable background. My background was a little crazy, and I had stability, but I took that negative and turned it into a positive. Some of these young people need a positive person right now. I'm working with a lot of young people. I'm working with young people. Not everyone will make it, but I'm trying. And that's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
Good
It's
comment,
just try.
Teresa.
It's just try. So GB, what about you? As far as your grandbaby goes, are there boundaries, or are you just whatever you
They're
you
not
want, whatever
grandbabies.
you
not
want?
actually here in Tulsa.
Uh-huh.
In this area.
Uh-huh.
My son, he's out of state, but it's boundaries and everything. Like just your own kids. You know what I'm saying? I love to see my own kids come along like I did, but you always try to instill some positive on your kids on a daily, whether they listen or whether they just let it roll off the shoulder. You always try to
I like
you
silence.
always try to give them something positive daily, because I can remember, like I said, I remember my father always trying to guide me because he didn't want me to bump my head, and it's a beautiful thing.
Question. Did you bump it though? Even though
Oh
he tried
yes,
to guide you,
you
did you
always.
bump it?
I mean, like you gonna bump your head from time to time. Nobody's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's perfect. We're gonna bump our head, and it's a lesson learned.
So when do we let go? Maybe let me ask that. So when do we let go? When do we officially say, okay, I've done all I can do, and you obviously are just not listening. You obviously are just not getting it. Well, we're gonna answer when we come back. But that's the question. When do you, as a parent, when you feel like you've done all you can do, and you are instilling those things, and that doesn't mean that you have stopped loving them. You love them and would give them your left eyeball if you needed to. But the question is, when we come back, when is enough enough? When and how do you step back and say, since you're not listening to what I'm trying to give you, go out there and figure that out yourself? And do you let them go with those children and figure it out? KBOB 89.9 FM radio.
You see, I love you, lady. Really, really love you, girl. And no power, baby, keep us apart. You're engraved in my heart. Do you hear me, pretty lady? Do you hear me, baby? I want you to hear every word I say. Yeah, girl. That means I love you, baby. And that means that I want you, baby. And that means that I'm gonna get you, baby. Well. Don't you know that I love you, girl? Your kiss me can drive me crazy. Yes, you do, girl. Kiss me, love, sweet love. Do anything that you wanna do. But don't you ever go nowhere. Please, I don't want you to go nowhere, baby.
know I love you, love you, love you. So the question before we left, when do you step back and say, go ahead and handle your business because the information and the love that I'm trying to give you, you simply are just not receiving? When do you step back? How do you step back?
Well, personally, I don't like to get personal, but I'm gonna get personal. You know, at some point, you have to just like I remember telling my children a long time ago, y'all didn't come with directions. I was a 20-year-old mother, and y'all didn't come with directions. So at the same time, I guess both of us was growing. And, you grow with your
You grow with
children.
your children.
You know what I mean?
You do grow with your kids.
So when you realize that you've exalted, when it started becoming a problem to you and you're exerting so extra energy, so much energy, you got to just refer to the Bible. There's a direction. When spare the rod, spoil the child. And, that can go a little bit deeper when it comes to like just you have to let go and just trust God. You have to let go and let God. And not saying, oh, I'm not going to speak to you no more, but
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
The biggest, like personally, when I was young, I didn't hear a lot of things that my grandparents raised me, and I didn't hear a lot of things they said until they were gone, until I started having children. So sometimes, they come back. My children have come back and said, Mama, now I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Now I understand. And so that's, and that's very rewarding to a parent, you know what I mean? To be able to you finally hear what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Because it's not easy out here, they just gotta wake up.
Is there ever a time that you feel like you have to step back or have had to step back and just say, I'm gonna let you have it, and you might let them do it for a little while and let them see that,
most definitely.
What about you, Dio?
I don't think you ever get to a point where you stop. Yeah, because even being at the age I am, or as you can see yourself, there's always room for growth, but it is rewarding when I don't know if you say rewarding, but it's finally like how you said when your kid come back and be like, yeah, you was right, like,
yeah,
kind of be like,
finally,
you listened.
Yeah.
Breath of fresh air.
What about you? Is there ever a time that you feel like you've had to just, and when I say let go, I don't mean let go. I mean, but kind of like step back a little bit.
Step back.
Yeah, step back. But sometimes it's hard when you see it. You be like, I ain't gonna even say nothing. You find yourself saying something.
Yeah,
that's just the parent in you. You like,
when I say let go, I don't mean just like completely. No, not but you have to let go of a problem, certain things, or a situation, depending on the situation. You know what I mean? If it's something that they're steady beating their head against, and you've told them I've told you what to do, and you continually coming back, and because you went your own route, then I have to step away because I've told you, and that's that. And if you want to continue to go on, then I'm gonna have to step back, but. It's hard still yet as a parent.
It's so hard. Go ahead, GB. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I've had to step. I had to fall back on my kid. I mean, especially like I said, kids nowadays have a sense of entitlement, and you like you said, you give your kid your left eye. You know what I'm saying? I done did so much. I done did so much for her, and she's so kids be unappreciative of what you've done.
But they don't even
it's like
see it
they
that
have
way
short term. They don't see it.
They don't see it that way.
They don't see it, and I'm like, and then like it's, Dick Gregory said. I heard him in one of his interviews. He said, and I believe that, and I truly, honestly believe it. Kids don't treat fathers like they treat mothers, and and it's just the thing. It's just the bond of a kid. It's just the bond that a kid has with his mother, which I don't have a problem with that.
Some kids aren't really. Some kids aren't really close to their mom. I mean, to their dad. Though.
Yeah, but I'm well aware. I mean, yeah, my daughter used to be
very close.
She was a daddy's baby.
Yes,
she was a daddy's baby.
She really was.
But she used to be a daddy's baby. But I say this right here, and kids gonna gravitate more to their mother than their fathers. But all you want from your kids is respect. I mean, because I respected both of my parents.
I want some common sense
when I did something for one, I did it for the other.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And these kids don't. I mean, like I said, you're not even in recognition. I mean, I'm not trying to reduce my wife because women look towards the men to handle business. But I was like, every stitch of school clothes or everything that you ever had, I bought. But you look at me and you look upside my head and talk to me crazy.
You didn't buy the right clothes.
I got a problem with that.
They're grown now, and they feel that you're supposed to respect them. They're grown.
Man,
how do you talk to me like that?
Well, you can't talk to me any other kind of way.
You understand what I'm saying?
When they're younger too, I believe, well, the concept for them is when we talk about entitlement, well, I didn't ask to be here.
Oh my God!
Boy,
you know what I mean?
I
didn't ask to be here, so therefore,
you just made me mad.
That was a shot heard around the world, girl.
Yeah,
that was a shot. That's one of the ones they'll throw at you.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't ask to be here, but I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
So since I didn't ask to be here, it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
to take care of.
That's a cop out.
I did not know that was universal. I thought that was only in my house.
Now go ahead and tell them this. I'm the one who brought you into this world. I ought to be the one to take you out. It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
I'm definitely a Marvin Gaye type father. Marvin Gaye Senior. I'm definitely a Marvin Gaye Senior type father. Bar none.
And he's not smiling, y'all.
I'm for real. I'm serious as a lot of things. Because I think kids should stand there. I know if I had did something wrong in my father's house, it would have been hell to pay. He would have popped me off. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would choke him out and put him in the shower and bring him back.
If I'm disrespecting him in his household, rightfully, he would have popped me off.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is
I felt like that.
You choke him out, and then you put him in a cold shower, slap him around, say, "Come back," and say, "Stop doing dumb stuff. Stop doing dumb stuff."
Let him wake up outside.
I mean, whatever happened to honor thy mother and father? Whatever happened to honor? Whatever happened to
So
that?
real quick, it don't only stop or start with our kids. What about our friends? Because I know that I got a friend, love her to death, but I really want to whoop her. Like, I really want to spank her for not being, she's not adulting, if that's a word. So I have to put some distance between us, but then I miss my friend, but then you'd be like, oh, but is it worth all the drama that comes with that friendship? So is the boundary line between your friendships easier to draw than your kids? I would say it is, but what about if you really like that person and you grew up with that person and all of that? So is that boundary line even, is that a boundary line?
I mean, of course you're going to be way more accepting of your children's bullcrap than a grown friend.
Right.
But at the same time, in the words of the infamous boss player, Flicker Flame.
Oh Lord!
You want to be a boss player, you better play the role.
Make some boss moves.
Make some boss moves. You know what I mean? Don't be sitting around there doing, childish things and coming back. If you do, don't let me know about it. You know what I mean? Because we all run into brick walls sometimes. But but you got to man up. You got to, you have to adult up. Evolve is, and handle your business because, and deal with it. You know what I mean? But don't come whining about something, especially as a friend. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you want to know, I'm going to tell you the truth. And whether you do it or not, that's on you. I've had people help me. I'm such and something years old, but but at the same time, I still learn. You know what I mean? So there's
you can learn every day, no matter how old you get.
I don't want to hear that I'm grown and I know it all. You don't know it all because at my something age, I still learn every day.
At just something age.
Yeah.
I also know too that there's always been the quote, "Birds of a feather flock together." Mm-hmm. Me personally, I never believed that because even though I was hanging with a person or a certain type of person, I never did those things what they were doing. And when they were on their crap or whatever they were doing, I went the other direction. Hit me up later, call me later when you get done doing whatever you're doing. So they always say birds of a feather flock together, but I don't really believe that. I know it's an old term and all of that, but I really don't. If I'm out somewhere with you and you and I don't have the same habits, I don't have to criticize you and stop being your friend. I can just, call me later whenever you get some time and whenever you get done. I'm going to go over and do this. That doesn't mean that I have to stop being your friend, but, people associate, well, if you hang with this person and they do this and do that, you must be like that too. To me, that has to be a line and a boundary. Don't associate me with what this person does. Can you what's the word I'm looking for? Can you accept me or look at me for the person that I am and not because of who they are? So a boundary line has to be drawn between that as well.
Yeah.
Judgment. Can you judge me for the person I am and not for what this person is? Like, D-Real, if he likes chitterlings, and just because we hang out together, that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit down and have a heaping bowl of it too. Let me know when you get done doing what you're doing. I'll hit you back up.
Give me a big bowl, D-Real. Give me a big bowl of chili.
Yeah.
I'll take them.
Yeah,
if you don't want them all, give me some. Can I have some?
I'm just saying, but so it does go both ways with your friends as well. You have to have some boundaries with your friends as well.
I read another thing not too long ago. It said, like just like trees, once the trees always look full of leaves or whatever, but when it continue, you don't have to cut people off. Pretty much, you don't have to cut people off. If you can continue to grow, they'll fall off. Just like trees, a leaf will fall off.
Right,
you know what I mean? But it doesn't look empty.
And I'm glad that was good you mentioned that too, because I've even seen that in relationships. Like, say, like if a woman is dating somebody or a guy, and this woman is, say, doing this and that, or like how you say your friend, like you have a friend that say that's smoking water or something or whatever, that's taking pills.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
We have to let that.
Well, no, I'm just saying though. So, and if everybody like, oh, he a water or he a pill, like the kids today.
Yeah.
Like, say if one of my best friends just like taking pills.
Right.
I'm not going to stop being his or her friend because they like taking pills. But you're right, because if they see me and this person's real close, they say, oh, look at them, look at those pill heads.
Yeah. Or what could they possibly have in common?
Well, yeah, but they automatically just associate you. You know what I'm saying?
They do.
But you could like this, my friend. I'm not gonna stop being their friend because they're alcoholic and everybody don't like him because he's no, this is my friend. I mean, I could be a person that don't even drink at all.
And maybe they don't drink. And maybe they don't drink around
you. But then
you.
you know what they'll say. Well, I know why he ain't drinking because he was an alcoholic and then he quit drinking. You fix your life. Will throw stigmas on you and don't even know nothing about you. And but you just being a friend of that till you're a friend.
But if you're a real friend, you're a friend until the end, like Chucky anyway.
Yeah.
Chucky right to the end.
First of all, Chucky killed all of his friends.
But it's a whole. It's a lot of misconception going on out here.
Yeah,
and out here in this world, and then some people think that they gotta have. I can't live without you. Come on, man. That's real.
What are you, oxygen?
You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
What are you, oxygen?
Hey,
what is you, my charger? You my phone cord? I can live without you.
When you see your friend veering off, then you get back with them. When you try to relay some positive to them, but once you see them veering too far off, and you done told them constantly, then you gotta fall back.
And I will say this: if you've been friends with people for years, and y'all ain't fell out over those years and been back friends, and
you're not really friends.
You're right.
You fake it.
You say we've been friends 20 years, we never had an argument, we never stopped talking, we never argued.
Yeah.
Because me and my two partners, we can't say words, but we get into it a lot.
Yeah.
Who gets into it on the beach?
Well, y'all
gotta
disagree.
Who gets into it on the beach?
Get drunk and get mad, and then like, that's why I ain't fooling with them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So real quick, I'm not putting our business out. Listen, I'm not. D-Real. I am not putting our business out, but we recently went on this trip. He went with his friends. I went with my husband. And I ain't gonna lie, the highlight of my show was them arguing. I was instigating everything. I was like, you hear what he said? You hear what he said? You gonna let him talk to you like that? That was the highlight, because even though they were doing all of that, they were walking side by side, just steady talking to each other. So it was a good time.
It was hangover. That was a hangover trip.
That was a hangover moment.
They got into it. That was
Thank God for them old wise men. Thank God for them old wise men.
And you know what time it is? It is the top of the hour, and this hour flew by so fast. We will be right back here Monday. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you guys for being who you are. And again, Juneteenth is this weekend, so do all that we can do to celebrate and leave the guns, the knives, the bad attitude, and the bad vibes at home. Only thing we want out on Juneteenth, Greenwood, is what? Positive energy.
Positive vibes. Is it still a party up in here?
It's a party. It's a party. It's a party. It's a party. Hey, 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 hey. She did. And
Man,
I don't know nothing about no game.
and it's gonna be a party all weekend. So it's gonna be a party all weekend down on Greenwood. So make sure you wear some comfortable shoes and drink plenty of water, you beautiful, beautiful people. And I want to give a shout out. Let me give a shout out real quick. I saw some women that I used to go to school with, right? And so we're all around the same age. And I'm just gonna put it out there, they were black. Mm-hmm. Man, these women are so put together and they are taking better care of themselves, that they are looking as young as their daughters. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the beautiful black women that I saw last night, that take the time to get up and put themselves together and look like they are really, really taking care of themselves. They are definitely stressing less. KBOB 89.9 FM radio. See you Monday.
Hey.
Come on. Oh, come on. Woo. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's love, baby. Let's get it on. Sugar, let's get it on.